Welcome back, guys. This is Thanks for Your Money, and we are going to play some Plo Vision. So we are going to play with 100 big blinds on single raise spots, on unpaired boards, and that's it. So I think this has to be a check. Okay, bet. Why is that a bet? Well, we have backdoor spades. So we are checking back with the flush draw and our pair of sixes. We are betting as well with hearts and backdoor spades, and we are betting spades. Okay. Well, maybe we're betting also because with the 7 we are blocking a bit the 7-9. Which is a hand that has a lot of equity against our range, and we don't want our opponent to have. Ace King Jack 6. Well, first of all, we have to know that this board we're going to bet probably like 30% of the time. I think this is an okay opponent. This is an okay candidate to check back. Well, we are c-betting this 48% of the time. It is important to know the c-betting frequencies, because if your c-bet frequency on a particular board is very high, then you may just bet all your hands, for example. Here, I think this is going to be a call. Raise. Okay, that's a bit peculiar, I have to say. But it's like a 50-50 call or raise. Okay, that was a bit weird. Okay, Jack 4-3. I think we're going to c-bet this quite often, like 50% of the time maybe. Yeah, 50% of the time. And with this particular combo we bet 98%. No, with ace Jack 5, 98% in total, and with this particular combo every time. Okay, if we bet 75 and we get raise, what do we do? I think we're going to we're just going to raise, because we have a gut shot and also backdoor clubs. So this is like 6 out. %, and then 2 aces as well. So like 28%. So if we are against a set, we're not doing that great, but if we are against something like 5, 6, 7, 8, we're doing very good, or even something like Jack 4, we're doing just fine. Queen 7, 3. We have 1, 7. I think this is an okay candidate to check back. We probably see bet here 50%, okay, 43% of the time. With our particular hand, we are checking back 71% of the time. King Jack 7. So this goes check, check. Well, should we raise here? Probably just calling. Against 9-10, we are not winning anything by raising. And if he has something like a set and a flush draw, like jacks and hearts or spades, we are doing, or jacks and hearts, we are doing terrible. Even against jacks and spades, we are not doing all that great. So just calling was probably fine there. Jack 5-3, we should see bet like 50% of the time. With this particular combo, we are going to see bet almost always. Yeah, like 80% of the time. And we are obviously going to call a raise and pot it. We are not getting away with our hand if he has a set. Here it's an easy fold. Jack 8 deuce. I think we have to fold here, unfortunately. Ace King 9. And I think we have to fold here. Yeah, this is just and apparently we would call with two backdoors. But you could fold as well, I mean. This is an easy fold because we raised from early position and he's docking into us, so his range is particularly strong. Has to be particularly strong in order to lead into us. I would advise just checking all your hands back on that spot. But I mean, there is a small leading range. Although you could make like life easier and just check back all your hands. Okay, here 4, 6, 10. I mean, we have a gut shot, a pair of tens. I think we have to call here. Not particularly happy about the spot, but we are sometimes ahead and sometimes we get there on the river. Here I think we have to check back because, well, we have one gut shot and two backdoors, but Okay, the correct answer is bad. Yeah, I mean, but it's still a mixed strategy, so you could go either way here. On this spot with only one backdoor, you check more often. With two backdoors, you start betting a bit more, although you would hate being check raised here on this spot with your backdoor having to fold your backdoor equity. Ace-3-7, we have a bit of a range advantage here. But this is probably just a check. Okay, the correct answer is bad. Why are we betting here? And we are betting this combo with pretty high frequency. Well, we're blocking a little bit the 4-5-6. Maybe we want some kings, queens, jacks to fold as well. Without a pair, something like queen 8-6-5, queen 8-6-5. I think we're going to bet. Okay, we're checking. What about queen 8-5-9? Yeah, so we would use this as a bluff. Okay, because it's pretty discoordinated, we can bet apparently queen 8-7-6 4. You could bet just 50% pot here. Maybe this is pretty dry. And you're going to put kings, queens, and jacks on a difficult spot there as well. Here you have one backdoor hearts and some backdoor straight draws. Your aces could be good. So just here the 5-6 king. I think just checking back seems alright. When you have two backdoors, you like c-betting a little more, although of course you would hate being check raised. Three, 7, 8. Well, this is an obvious call here. Raise. What? Well, it's kind of a mixed strategy here. You call. So here now, if he pots it, you are going so I got confused. Do we fold or do we pot here? Well, this is raise. Wow. Okay. Why is that? Okay, let me see if this makes sense. Ace, queen, queen, 5. So you're folding, calling, and raising some. So you are folding. So some of the hands on this category are folding and some are raising. I don't know, this hand looks very similar to this hand to me. Yeah, probably it's because of the accuracy of the solver, but fold and raise. Yeah, I think it's better to stay at this level. So you are folding 2/3 of your hands and raising 1/3, because and calling with the ace queen queen 5, which has two backdoors. So mostly calling, although raising some. Okay, so yeah, folding 2/3 and raising 1/3, and kind of calling with the ones who has two backdoors. So let's say we raise. Well, obviously, if we raise and now we have to fold, obviously. So because we are blocking top set with our ace, we are raising as a bluff some percentage of the time. That's pretty nice to know. Okay, here king jack 5/8. We have two backdoors. I think we can check and bet some. So we are c-betting 50% with this particular hand. We're just c-betting because we want kings, queens, jacks, tens to fold, and we have backdoor equity. Without backdoor equity, like king, jack, king, queen, jack, 7, for example. Well, king, queen, jack, 7, we are checking, but king 10 9 8, for example, king 10 9 8, king 10 9 8, we're probably betting us. So king 10 9 8, we are checking when we do not have backdoor equity, but we are betting some percentage of the time with two backdoors, and we really want those queens and jacks to fold here. that our opponent may very well have on this spot, so that's why we're betting some. Okay, king 10-8. I think that this board, well, obviously have to fold here even if we have the backdoor equity. It's just an easy fold. I don't think there are many deuces and threes on his range. Queen Jack 8, I think it's just a fold. Just a call with the clubs. Let's say Jack Deuce 8. I think this has to be a bet. It's very strong hand, but it's still vulnerable. When you have like 3 hearts, well, with 2 hearts you are still betting. With three hearts you are checking some percentage of the time, because what is your opponent going to call you with, right? So king Jack 9, for example, now we are checking a bit more because we are, or let's say Jack 10-9, Jack 10-9. So we are checking 23% of the time, and when we have the hearts, we are almost always checking. So just because you have top set, I mean Jack 10-9, without hearts we're betting, but with 2 hearts or with 3 hearts we're always checking back, because our hand is too strong to bet. I mean, our opponent cannot continue. And with 2 hearts, which is not obviously not the nut flush, we are and ace Jack 10, for example, with the nut flush, is actually checking quite often, and even checking when he only has 1 heart, and when he has 3 hearts he's always checking, just because what is your opponent going to call you with? Okay, so but this particular combo we have to bet. It's not strong enough to check back. Ace King 9, I think we're going to call. Without the gut shot may well be a fold, because it really looks like our opponent has his king, or I think we have to call here. Yeah. Is king 7-4 is raising. This looks pretty crazy to me. So you raise, I mean, you call with the nut flush, but you raise when you don't have it. A bit tricky strategy to play there. Ace 7-8. Well, we have the ace of hearts, which is great, but at the same time we do not block the straight draws, so I think we have to check back. We would bet if we have the ace of hearts. Do not flush, but 7-8. Yeah, because the 9 gives us a straight in case he has a top set or something. but we are checking back sometimes with 3 hearts. Because it's a bit harder to make our flash. Although we are kind of blocking the continuation range of our opponent. So this would be a reason in order to bet our. And we are checking back sometimes the ace blocker, in fact very often, because we may find this card very useful in the turn if our opponent leads, but if our opponent check raises us, we cannot call on the flop. I think we can bet this. We have 2 backdoors. A pair of 7s, 4, 5. If he check raises us, we are. I think we would fall here. No, the correct answer is call. So we even call without the backdoors. Yeah, I don't know about that one. This doesn't seem right, to be honest. 4, 5, and a 7 without backdoors. Well, maybe he's calling because he has a pair of 7s at the moment, so. The correct answer is bad. Really. We're checking back without the flush draw though. Without the flush draw, we're checking back very often. Yeah, okay. Ace Queen 6. I think checking. Bet. Okay, yeah. Why are we betting? Well, we are betting because we open on early position and our range is c-betting almost. We're c-betting 83% of the time. So this particular hand is going to c-bet as well. If we were on the button with this particular hand, I think we would just check it back. Well, we use with ace queen queen 5, we were folding 2/3 and raising 1/3, but here we have the queen jack and 9, we have more over cards, so it's a bit easier to play on the turn. So, and we have backdoor clubs, so I think we are going to call with this particular combo. Do we raise here? We raise mixed strategy with two backdoors, two backdoor flush draws. Queen h6. I think that we can check back this combo because we have a flush draw, but it's a weaker flush draw. If he check raises us, we are not sure if we have to call or fold. So it's gonna be difficult to assess what our equity is. So yeah, with this particular combo we check back. We would bet with the nut flush draw. With the nut flush blocker as well, because we have an easy check raise, an easy fold to a check raise. With 3 hearts we're betting as well, and we're checking with 1 heart and backdoor flush draws, and just with rainbow aces as well. And yeah, we are c-betting like 50% of our hands with this particular board. Very wide ranges here. I think I would just fold here. Our hand is not very strong and our draws are not that great. We fold 60. No, with our particular hand we always fold. What about we would call with a nut flush? Yeah, with all nut flush we are calling for sure, and just raising some, but not that many. Yeah, the thing is that we do not have ace of hearts, 7 of hearts, like ace of hearts, 5 of cards, 7-4 of spades, for example, because we would have bet the flop. So we do not hold the ace x of hearts on this particular scenario with this particular hand. Of course, we could have something like ace king, 6 deuce, for example, with ace king of hearts. Anyway, queen 10-5, I think that we should, well, never mind, he didn't see bet. Here we're going to have some low flashes for sure, but with this particular hand we have an easy fold. 6-9 queen, yeah. We are calling with our weak flashes here, which some are going to check back the flop. Here I think we have to go. I don't see we are blocking the ace and the king of hearts, so he's very likely to have 2 pair sets, 9-10 jack queen with spades maybe. Yeah, not a lot of value in raising on this with this particular hand. King queen 8, and he leads into us. Well, we have backdoor spades and 1 gut shot. I think we have to call here once. And we have a pair of queens, which which may or may not be good. Here, if he bets, we are obviously folding. If he checks? Should we bet our hand? No, I think solver is going to check back. Okay, no, he did bet. He did bet. He did bet, kind of mixed strategy though. Well, he probably wants some kings to fold here, and this is an easy bet fold scenario. Let's say we bet and he raise. Well, yeah, we're obviously folding here. Okay, interesting. So he turned his hand into a bluff. I'm curious if he calls, if we would bluff the river. On case an innocuous card comes. Ace Jack 3, he leads into us. This is very strong, so this is an easy fold. He shouldn't lead many hands into us. So as you see, we are raising some, folding some, and calling some. So we are polarizing our range some of the time here. Like with this ace queen queen 5, where we didn't want to call, but we want to bluff some percentage of the time. Well, this is an easy fold. Jack 8 deuce, pretty discoordinated board. We could bet a bit less than 75, I think, but I think the solver is done such that he's c-betting 75. With this particular hand, we have two backdoor straight draws, two backdoor flush draws. So I think this is a good candidate to bluff. I think probably it's a mixed strategy, but I wouldn't mind bluffing. The correct answer is check. See. Betting 23% and 77. So yeah, once in a while, once in 4, you can bet this hand. Well, as you can see, probably with the ace, queen, and king 6, you are betting a bit more. With the ace, queen, and king 6, yeah, you are 47 and 53, just because with the king queen you are blocking a bit the calling range of your opponent. I mean, when you have the king high flush, you want him to have the queen high flush. So that's why it's better to have the ace queen and the king 6. I mean, it's a small difference, but that's why he's c-betting this hand a bit more often than with this particular composition. Deuce 3-7, pretty dry board. We probably want to c-bet this like 50 as well. Backdoor spades, pair of 9s. I think this is going to be mixed between betting and folding, between betting and checking, like 50-50, something like that. The correct answer is check. So yeah, the c-bet frequency is 50%. Okay, no, I was a bit off with those c-betting frequencies. He's checking a bit more often than betting here. With the ace jack 9-9 without the spades, let me see. Yeah, it's also check this. Ah, no, okay, but this is because we have hearts. But I was looking with ace jack 9-9, like ace 9 of clubs, for example. Yeah, like for example, ace jack 9-9 with clubs, for example, ace 9 of clubs. It's a check 100% of the time. So either when you have backdoors or not, you should just check this. Okay, yeah, I mean, well, we have to call, we have a pair of tens and a gut shot, so he's even raising some percentage of the time, but I think it's just, this works just fine calling. Top pair and hearts. Yeah, let's see, bet. But yeah, well, actually it's not a mixed strategy. Well, it's 2% and 98%. However, we are checking back with if the flash was a bit weaker. Probably because we wouldn't know what to do if he check raises us. Here on this scenario, if he check raises us, we have a top spot, but I think that we're going to call. Okay, or raise. The correct answer is raise 7. Ah, okay. Yeah, because we have a gut shot. That's why. 7. Yeah, we have a gut shot as well, so that's why you cannot fold. He would fold without, and actually it's mixed between calling and potting, so nothing wrong with calling on that spot. He plays some turns. If the flash comes, you probably have to stack off, I would say. But okay. I think I would fold here, but solver maybe calls. Call. Folding sometimes, but calling. Without a pair. Without a pair. Yeah. Without a pair, we are potting. We are potting sometimes because we are blocking the straight. What about King Jack 10-8? Now for sure we are not potting. We would just call here. have a gut shot as well. King Jack 10-8. Okay, now it starts to be a fold with the King Jack 10-8. Yeah, but with the gut shot we want to call a bit more. Just checking here. Seems alright. Should we raise here? Looks a bit. Yeah, just calling here. We would raise some with the nut flash. Not always though. Like 50-50. Ace big we tend to call a bit more just because we do not put our opponent in a flush draw. He's more likely to have sevens, something like that. And we are not doing great against sets on that spot, so okay. Then this is an standard call, I would say. Some people tend to raise here, but I mean we have like 9 outs. Yeah. And we do not have backdoors here. Should we raise with backdoors? No. We are just calling here. We are not blocking queens and tens, so it's possible our opponent has a set there. And of course we are not doing great in equity against a set. Well, this is an obvious call here. Just check in here. So checking with spades, but betting with spades here. I don't know, this looks a bit weird to me. Why those difference? But yeah, I mean yeah, all in all, this is pretty high frequency check. You could bet once in a while though. So he leads into us. I think we have to go with our top pair wrong. We're just folding. Well, I guess that we want our opponent to have 10 jack and we're blocking tens, so which hands is this guy calling? He's calling with the flash draw for sure, and even raising some. And calling with the backdoor as well. Pretty interesting that he's raising so often here. So he's raising with the key card, the Queen of Hearts. Okay, yeah. Okay, so with a particular holding we fold, but we want to raise sometimes with the bluff as a bluff with the heart when we have one heart, and when we have two hearts we're raising some as well. Okay, difficult to implement. I think we're going to call here pretty often. So yeah, we are folding some quite often, calling sometimes, and raising almost never. Which hands should raise? Well, you should raise as we are even blocking the straight flush here. We are raising sometimes with 3 hearts just because we believe that our opponent may have a set, for example, and he's not going to bluff the river with the king of hearts or something. But yeah, quite we are calling quite often here. I tend to raise this, but the solver says that you should call most of the time, like 82% of the time with our particular hand. The thing is that we do not hold many nut flushes there because we are taking back middle flush draws on the flop, but most of our flush draws and flush draws blockers are betting the flop. Here I think we have to bet, although taking some time, but yeah, what happens if he raises? I think we are calling. The ace is very bad card because he's going to have a lot of ace X of hearts, so fold. Yeah. In reality, I would fold this, but I mean on real life. But I was just curious what would the solver do. Okay. Well, I guess that he's either beat or our opponent has tons of equity there. If he has something like ace xx x with hearts and a straight draw. Here, this is a board that we shouldn't raise too often. So he's going to go even 100% of the time. What about nines? Is he always racing with nines? Okay, so yeah, he's racing with nines but calling with fours. Racing with nines but calling with the ace with nines and hearts. As you can see, nines and hearts are calling because they are blocking too much his continuation range. And if the guy has fives or fours or something, he's going to stab on the turn as well. With fives we are starting to mix a bit more. Which hands are raised? Probably fives with the nut flush draw, like this scenario here, this scenario. So yeah, but pretty much he's not slow playing fives. He would only slow play something very strong like nines and hearts or something. And with fives you should raise some but call some. You're not always raising with your fives. You start to raise a bit more when you have fives. Yeah, fives and a flush draw. Looks like it looks like it is always a raise. And with fives and at least a gut shot, not a gut shot, but an backdoor flush, you are also raising a bit more often. So yeah, like calling with fours and raising when you have the flush draw, and with fives you want to bet a bit more, raise when you have the flush draw, and maybe if you have the backdoor flush draw as well, you can raise a bit more happily. But with just fives as it is, you kind of call a bit more often. And with nines they're pretty much always raising here, except when you have the ace 9-9. And what about even with the king 9-9, yeah, you're going to raise as well, just in case he has the aces with hearts. Okay, what else? Deuce 8-9. What should we do here? I think this is an easy bet. Let's say he raises us. Should we call or just pot? I think, okay, the answer is call. Call. Yeah, call because you have 3 hearts. No, actually you're kind of calling always. What about the ace? 10, 7. Ace 10, 7. Ace 10, 7 with hearts. Well, you're raising when you have the backdoor spades, but you're calling quite often. No, you are just calling with the ace 10, 7. What about ace 10, 7 jack? Ace 7, 10 jack. Yeah, too strong, but with the ace 4, 5, 7, yeah, just calling. So calling, seeing what develops on the turn, and here you can fold. Opponents play check. Well, you have to check here. 100%, you're not even trying to bet sometimes, some percentage of the time. Okay, so yeah, just calling with a flush draw and kind of a low straight draw, calling and seeing what happens on the turn. Unless you have a monster like 10 jack, 7, something like that. Okay. I think that's bet folding here. So yeah, kind of mix a strategy here. It's not obvious what you have to do here. Which hands do we like betting a bit more? Yeah, a hand with the nut flush draw or the nut flush blocker. We are a bit more happily betting here. But yeah, mix a strategy overall. Well, check. Wow, really? That's very surprising. Well, it's a mixed strategy, 50-45, so I think there is nothing wrong if you bet there. You could check some percentage of the time as well. Well, probably the combo 5-6 hits a lot your opponent's range, probably more than yours. Well, this is an easy call here. A9, deuce. difficult hand to play here. Oof. Call. Damn it. Well, we have a gadget, I guess, if we are beat. What about they say? I don't know. Queen, king. Well, with aces, queen, king, you start folding a bit more. But here you have the gadget here. In case your opponent doesn't have 6-7, but if he has two pairs or something like that, you could be doing great against his range. Well, not great, but so if we called last time, I think we have to call here as well. Folding, unfortunately, calling with flush draws. Fold, really. We have backdoors. Well, a bad backdoor flush draw. So we call with two backdoors and we fold, and we tend to call with one backdoor, with the backdoor not flush draw, but we fold without it. Okay. Check. Damn it. Yeah, but it's a mixed strategy, so yeah, with the queen 10, with the queen high flush, you like betting a bit more. So something to keep in mind. You check back one pair and about flush draw, but with a higher flush draw, you're a bit more likely to bet it. Okay, but you could bet it as well, just a bit less often. 3-7-8. I think we have to check back this. This is nowhere strong enough to bet. We do not hold a queen. Diamonds is very bad. You are just calling back with backdoor hearts here apparently. But not with the 10 deuce. Well, with two backdoors for sure you're calling. Yeah, so you're calling with two backdoors pretty much. With one you can just fold. Okay. Think that we have to fold here. Also we are we have to 10, so we are blocking a bit his bluffs. I think we have like a bad pair and a bad flush draw, so I think it's better just to check back. We do not have backdoors, and we have a gut shot and a pair of king, but I think this is just a fold. Call. Call, yeah, 100% call. So yeah, folding top pair seems unrealistic, even if we do not have good draws. Maybe, what about king, 8, 9, ace, ace, king, 8, 9. No, just calling. King, no, yeah, but because there is one gut shot there. What about ace, king, queen, 8? Is king, queen, 8? Yeah, okay, so is king, queen, 8 is a fold. Well, unless obviously you have the nut flush, in which case you can just raise it up. So we have two backdoors, we have a pair of queens, so this is an easy call. Even queens without backdoors, I think we probably want to bluff this combo. We have backdoor spades, pair of kings, not a good draw. I think we're better off just checking back. Yeah, our hand is always a check back. With backdoor, I know blocking the king is a bit more of a bet fall probably. A9. Here, if he bets, what on earth do we do? 8, 9, 10, I think we have to call here. But he's starting to fall. Well, no, he's calling here, 9, 10. No, he's calling almost always. Probably not a happy camper. He's actually calling with hearts, 100%, even with 3 hearts, because he's going to get paid with hearts. With the spades, with 3 spades, he's starting to fold. With 2 spades, he's going to call pretty often, but with the 7-4 of spades, he's just going to fold right here and call a bit, but mostly folding. 8 hearts. Yeah, but with the 7-4 he's just folding. So if you want to draw, you need to draw to a high flush draw, ace or to the ace or to the king, I guess. Well, I think this is going to work better as a call. Well, he's going to raise sometimes with the aces. He's going to, with 3 hearts, he may call a bit more often. Apparently he doesn't have 3 hearts on this spot. But no, he's just raising with 2 hearts here. He cannot have 3 hearts because this would be the ace 9 6 of hearts, and the 6 of hearts is on the board. So is he folding some aces like rainbow? No, he's not folding at this point. He's even raising sometimes with the backdoor spades. Yeah, but if you raise, you probably have to call it off, so unless he starts he folds there. Yeah, maybe raise folding the ace 9 6, it's alright. Well, this is an obvious call to me. We have 2 backdoors and a gut shot, right? Yeah, with a queen, pair of kings. Well, we have the ace of hearts and our hand sucks, so we probably want to bet. This is like 100% bet here. Also, an ace, a king, or a queen is going to make our hand pretty strong, I think. So, I mean, not pretty strong, but kind of strong. Here, what happens here? What happens is that we have a pair of 5s and a bad flush draw. So I think this is a candidate to check. And it's 100% check. With the king high, it starts to be a bit more of a bet. He leads into us, that's pretty strong. We have a 2 pair, so an okay hand, an okay made hand, and an okay draw, so I think it's better just to call. And this is sometimes a raise, apparently. Even something like ace king 9 8 is pretty often a call, just because what on earth is he value betting? This looks like set of 10s, maybe a set of aces. So okay, queen 8 6. Well, I think we have to call. Maybe bluff clubs. Maybe on the river. Here we raise on the button, so we do not have that much of a range advantage. I mean, if we had this hand on early position, which we wouldn't have because this is too weak, we would bet it. But here, I think we have to check back, try to realize our equity. The correct answer is bet. Okay, so he's betting 57%, checking 43. With this particular combo, apparently it's always a bet, just because so Queen Jack 5-5, it's sometimes a check, it's not always a bet, first of all. Like without relevant blockers, with two spades and no heart, this becomes a bit more of a check. However, here we have two hearts and we are blocking a little bit. Well, if we had the Queen of Hearts, we are a bit more happily betting, just because we are blocking his continuation range. Here we are blocking the 5 of Hearts, which is not that relevant. I mean, we still prefer to block a bit his continuation range, but it's not that relevant, but still we decide to bet. Okay, so good to know. So we can bet when we are blocking a bit his continuation range. Even here without spades, with the 5 we're betting, but without a heart we're just checking back. We have a bad draw and a bad made hand, so I think it's better just to check it back. Still we can check sometime, we can bet sometimes with this particular hand, so I mean, those are normally mixed strategies just because the difficulty is insane. Jack 4-3, we have two backdoors. Without the two backdoors, I think this would be an easy fold, but here I think we can call. Fold. Why fold? Well, maybe we folded the 8s because this looks a bit stronger against our range. The donk, it's a bit stronger than usual, I guess. We have a bad backdoor draw, the bad made hand, but I think we can just check this. He leads into us. This is a bit worrying because we're going to have queens, probably not that many tens, but ace king queen jack. So I think on this spot we have one backdoor and a gut shot and king, so I think we're going to call. But I think that without, and apparently without it, you're still calling, but not particularly happy probably. but still calling there. I think I may have folded with nothing else, but ace 3, 7, 8, we check back the flop. I think we have to call. This would be a fold with the 10-6, but with the 10 deuce is a call because, well, he may very well have 6 X of hearts, so it's a bit additional equity. Also here I think we are going to get paid with hearts more than with spades. In fact, but actually with the spades you are calling as well, and you're also calling with the 10 deuce. Okay, small difference. Queen Jack 7, similar equity in those spots. He's going to have a lot of rundowns. Now he decides to bet. Jack 4, it's an easy call with 2 pair, and yeah, I mean, we're not very often ahead, but sometimes we're ahead. So it would be a terrible mistake to fold when we are ahead. So ace king queen 5, well, this is an easy fold. I think we have a mediocre mate hand and a mediocre draw, so I think we have to check back. We have one gut shot and a pair of 9s and backdoor spades. So well, if he checks, we're always folding, I would assume. Check, check on the flop. We could check with kings. We could have kings, I guess. 6-10. Well, we have to call. Can we have kings? I think. Are we checking back kings on the flop? Yeah, we're checking back some kings on the flop, which we are raising here. I think this has to be a check. Which hands are bets here? Ace deuce deuce 3, sometimes a bet, sometimes a check. Yeah, because if you bet and you got check raise, you don't know what to do. It's nice to have some nut flashes on the turn. If you are always betting your nut flash draw, then you never have the nut flash when the turn hits. A6, well, this is an easy call, even without a heart, just because you could be ahead and you have some equity if your opponent has a flash. Like 8% equity, something like that. Check back on the flop. Well, this is an easy fold. We have one gut shot. We do not have backdoor flash draw, so I call, really. I don't know about that one. Looks like we have looks like a fold to me, to be honest. Although, well, we have a pair of threes. Mediocre draw, mediocre mate hand. Okay. Pair of eights, some backdoor stuff. King 8 blocking the 9-10. We do not have hearts, so I think we have to check back. We have a bad mate hand, but well, we have like backdoor straight draws, so that's folding here. Let's make him just folding. 8-9 jack. Are you calling some? Okay, so you're calling with a heart and backdoor spades. So pretty much calling when you have a heart. Okay, that's when you are blocking with your heart, with a heart, or you have two hearts, you can call. Otherwise, just folding, or with backdoor spades as well. So when in doubt, look at your backdoor stuff or blockers. Have backdoor clubs, a pair of eights. think if we just bet here, our hand is going to be very hard to play on the turn and river. Then something like force, apparently he's betting because, yeah, you are blocking your opponent continuation range, so your hand is really not that strong. You just want to take it down. You just want to take the pot down, and if you bet and go check raise, doesn't really matter. Okay, 4, 5, 10. Pair of tens, jack of hearts, and a 4, so kind of okay. Okay, make hand, and you are blocking a bit the flash, so it's good enough. Even with 2 pair without anything else, you would just call here. No point in raising here. Well, maybe with the flash draw, but King 5-9, I think this favors our range, so I think that's why we can bet here. So we bet 40% of the time, kind of often. We are betting a bit more when we do not have backdoors, apparently. 9-3 deuce, pretty dry board. I think this can go either way, betting or checking, but we have 2 backdoors, so it's a bit. Although you would hate folding, what happens if he raises? We're going to call here. We don't really want to, but we're blocking this high flash, so I think you can just bet. Try to take it down without the nut flash. It's a bit more appealing. I mean, you have to check back a bit more often, and then you are betting quite often with the nut flash, although you can check some of the time as well. Our diamonds are not good. I think we have a 9. I think this could go either way. We're blocking a bit of flash draw with the 9, but this is probably going to be more of a check, although I wouldn't hate betting once in a while. Okay, the correct answer is bet. So yeah, it's the other way around, checking and betting quite often. You're just checking without the heart. At 10. Well, of course, if he raises, we have to fold, but it's really not a big deal, I would say. What about here? I think this has to be a fold here. We do not have cards and a very weak made hand. We do not have backdoor equity, so I think we're better off just calling here. Even with two backdoors, he seems to call quite a bit. We have a weak made hand and bad backdoor spades, but I think we can bet here. Okay, check. It's always a check this. Okay, so bad made hand, bad draws, although it's pretty dry board, so okay, just checking with your bad pairs on rainbow boards. I think we can take this back bet. Okay. Well, it's a check pretty often as well. So yeah, I don't mind a check there. Have blockers, but when he bets, he's going to have more 10 king or queens or 10s or I don't know, 7s. Some backdoor, but I don't think that's enough to call. I think this is a good hand to bet. If he raises, we're just sticking it in all in on the flop, I would say. No, the correct answer is call. Don't think it matters that much. We're potting a bit more often with the clubs. I mean with backdoor spades. Call as well. Okay. But the pot is going to be like 230 and we have 80 behind, so we can make a very big mistake on the river. But yeah, maybe on the flop we can just call. And make him play. Yeah, but are we going to fold the turn though? Yeah, that is going to put us in a very tough spot on the turn if he pots it unimproved. Okay, check. Good make hand, but pretty dry board. So backdoors, it looks like you prefer a bit more to bet, but very dry board. We have kings, but he also has kings and he has more 6-8s than we do. So here we have a bad mate hand and a bad backdoor, so I think this is a candidate to be a check back pretty often, at least. Of course you can go and bet some percentage of the time with that hand. Here this is a bit problematic because we're not blocking anything and we do not have backdoor equity, but so just folding here. With a heart, we probably just calling here. Yeah, we're calling with the ace of hearts. Even with a heart other than the ace, we're just folding. Okay, so don't get too attached to your aces. With spades, ace, X of spades, we're calling here. But yeah, we need a bit of equity apparently. So good to know. Flush comes, we can have some nut flush, although not many. And with 10-7 we would call, but with this, just an easy fold. 10-3-7. I think that we're going to pot quite often, maybe not always. Maybe not always, because we do not have backdoor equity. Where is our hand? So yeah, 1 in 3 we just call. But we tend to pot with spades, right? In 9 spades, it's going to be 9, spade. Wait, 2 spades. Yeah, so we always pot with the ace king, a9, 2 spades or more. And we tend to call with the a9. 1 and 3. What about if we have 1 spade? 1 spade, we tend to raise a bit more if we have 0 spades. So with 0 spades, we're calling very, very often. No, we are raising 60% of the time, just 60% of the time. So good to keep in mind. When you have spades, you raise, but when you don't, you play a bit more snug. This is great because if you get a blank on the river, then your opponent is going to put you on a missed flush draw. You can get a lot of money there. Okay, 10 jack. We have one gut shot, the bad pair of tens, no backdoor equity, so I think this is just a fold. Okay, the correct answer is a call apparently. but no, it looks like it is always a call. With 10-5s should be a fold. Yes, I think you can call some, fold some with that particular combo, and you're a bit more likely to call with two backdoors, flush draw, or at least one. Here you have to call, raise. What the fuck? 3-10 Jack Queen. Well, that's weird. My hand. Is that so? Raise. Wow. That's well, we have backdoors. Backdoor spades as well. What if he goes all in? What the fuck are we going to do here? I think we have to fold, right? So yeah, if you want to find some hands that you want to raise fold, you can look at those unpaired flush draw with gut shots, I guess. No, I mean with backdoor spades as well. This is just an easy call here. Never raising here. Really. Apparently you can raise some of those combos, but just call. Deuce 3-7. We have a okay, made hand, mediocre draw, but I mean kings is too strong to fold. Call. Really? That's so. And always calling, apparently. This is kind of curious. I mean, I don't see what's the difference between those two hands. But anyway, with your hand, you can mostly fold, call. No, mostly call. Okay. Call sometimes. Without the heart, though, you fold. Maybe you want to bluff hearts. If the heart hits and he checks, I think you're better off just bluffing. Here, your pair is pretty bad. Here, your backdoor equity is pretty horrible. You only have an 8, so I think you just have to fold here. Those queen, well, obvious. Well, you're blocking a bit of flush draw, you have a gut shot, top pair, and the correct answer is raise, believe it or not. Although he's calling some. He bots, what the fuck do we do here? We have to fold, right? I think we're going to bet just because we have range advantage here. He's going to bet very, very often. So with this particular combo, he's betting with kings, nothing else. He's just checking a bit more often. So here, because he has backdoor flush draw, he's allowed to bet a bit more often. Without the backdoor flush draw, he may check a bit more often. Check back. Just folding here. Although he's calling sometimes 1 in 3, so it's not a terrible call. Bad mayhem, bad draw, backdoor. I think you can check this. Well, this is going to be a mixed strategy, but just checking seems alright to me. Well, actually, no, it's 100% check apparently. 3% bet. So okay, make hand, okay, draw, but not strong to bet. Probably just bet folding with the 8 of hearts. Just checking here. Checking. Why is that? Because with the 5 you bet a bit more often apparently. And with the a big heart, you bet more often. Well, you probably want to okay, you want to yeah, you want to block the 4-5 of hearts, something like that. We have the royal flush draw. Maybe small difference, but still you can bet some percentage of the time with this hand as well. I mean, it's not a big deal. Just don't bet always with such a bad hand. Wrong, just folding. Even with a heart, it's a fold here. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't too smart. Okay, just what if you have the ace of hearts? Ah no, but it's not possible to have the ace of hearts. But yeah, you need a blocker. That's the point. At the least, well, it's a call. You don't want to go bananas with this combo, although with this combo and backdoor flush draw you can raise. I think this is going to be a fold because you do not have backdoor equity. The deuce is pretty relevant. If the deuce was a queen of hearts, well, apparently it's still a fold, this, although it's a bit more of a call. Just because if you have the king of hearts and he's betting, it makes it more likely than he has to pair or something like that. So just calling when you have the flush draw. I think same applies here. This is probably a bit more of a call because you have the king of hearts, which may be useful. Okay, let's call one. Yeah, apparently with this combo we are calling 100%, but we would fall with the king 10-8. And maybe we bluff turns here. Well, I think this is an easy call. We have the aces and backdoor hearts. Not, I mean, you shouldn't raise at all. In fact, with ace king king, nothing else, you can just fold on the flop. Jack 6 deuce, they lead into us. Same thing here, we have to call with the overpair and the backdoor clubs. Really no point in raising. Well, he's kind of raising 4%, but just, which are probably with two. Well, these weird combos, I'm not sure why, but just call. Your hand is not strong enough to raise. I think this can be a bet, but I think it's going to be like more of a check. Maybe you bet this 40% of the time. No, actually it's 100% check here, but you're betting it 16% of the time. Yeah, when you have two backdoors, it's a bit more of a bet apparently. Although you would hate being check raised here, so that's not. Although probably you're not going to get check raised all that often because you have more aces than your opponent anyway. So the deuce 3-5 deuce, no spades. Sadly no, I think we have to fold here. Brown, call. It was close though. No, actually it's 100% call. What about fold? I wonder why king queen 8. It's a fold, but not with this particular combo. Fold call. I think it's okay if you fold here some percentage of the time and you call some. Toss a coin if you want. You are obviously going to call with spades, right? When you have one spade, folding. And obviously fold river, I would say. Here, I think that our hand is very strong, but I think we have to bet because 6, 7, 3 deuce, there are some turns that you are not happy with. Something like 9, 9, 6, 3. You should never have 9, 9, 6, 7. Still, you are going to bet those. Apparently. Well, I guess not using the 3. Could be on. He could have an ace X with a wheel draw. Okay, good to know. You can just bet there. Jack 10 5, 5 7 10. have an okay draw. I think that just checking because the flash draw is a bit weak, but no, apparently you well, yeah, no, I mean, you do not have a mid hand, so yeah, just betting. Let's say we bet and we get check raise. I think we are going to call. I don't think we are going to stick it in the flop. Call. Well, should raise, always raise. Call some. Really? 9. Well, apparently you have to call some. In reality, I think I would just stick it in because I don't think he's going to fold anything. Call with two bad pairs. We cannot do anything else here. We have okay hand made, but not a very good draw, so I think do we bet really? And we check when we do not have the backdoor. But the problem is that if we bet and we get check raise, what on earth do we do? I think we have to go right. Just call in here without the nut flush draw, I think. What if he checks? What should we do on that spot? I think we have to check back. Yeah, because the problem is that we do not hold any pair at the moment. But we bet half the time. Although probably on micro stakes you can bet a bit more often, because if the guy had something strong he would probably lead. well, I think our hand is pretty so bad that I'm thinking about bet folding this because I'm not going to have many good turns. Would be nice to have a heart though. I think that's why he's going to check. With a heart, yeah, with a heart he's betting a bit more often. For the reason that I said, that he wants to block a bit your opponent's calling range. The tens are great in that sense. Your opponent is not going to have that many of those straight draws, but you still need probably a heart. With a bad heart like 7, he's checking way more often than with the 10 of hearts. Yeah, the 10 of hearts makes it a bet just because you are blocking the straight draws and higher flush draws. Okay guys, so this is going to be it, so have fun.